Well, I got it in there, and it's definitely pretty big. The biggest car I've ever had in here besides this, well, my old truck wasn't this big, but also my Hyundai Sonata was pretty big as well. But let me show you guys what's going on. Inches to spare in the back, just enough room to walk around in the front. But let's get going on this interior. I'm gonna rip it out and start looking at the electrical. So in order to remove the carpet completely, you have to remove the storage, the interior quarter panels, and it's just a lot. And another thing I wanted to show you was this dryer right here. You can see it is working a little bit, but not as good as I wanted it to. So that's the reason why I have to remove all the interior and let the carpet dry. Here's a little side project I got going on. The wiper washer fluid was not working, so I went ahead and gained access by taking off the wheel, and I have my meter here, my new meter connected all the way to the connector, and I'm getting the voltages forward and backward for the front and the rear. Here it is on Amazon for $16, and they're all cheap, guys. They're all made in China. Doesn't really matter which one you get. So a bit of good news, guys. The carpet does not go back as far as I thought. And so I think I'm going to leave the carpet in the vehicle while it dries. So I'm going to give it a shot at least. And so if I could remove the center console, roll the carpet up, or just flip it backwards and then dry it, I think that's my best option. The entire week we have rain and snow scheduled, so getting the carpet out and putting it somewhere to dry is going to be an obstacle. So my only choice is to roll it up and then leave it vertical or something like that in the garage. It's not really a good choice. And a fan, I think the carpet will dry out in my garage. Check it out. We got the carpets out, sorta, but you can see the water in all the valleys of the floorboard. It is saturated, completely saturated, and you can see here also the dark color on some of the padding. That's all saturated with water. And that's another thing, I didn't realize the carpet was in two sections, but the front carpet is right here. I flipped it upside down. I'm going to slide it under the vehicle. Also, this gives me access to the wiring, so I'm going to look for some of the unions or the splices in this area and see if I can find where some of this problematic signals are coming from. Here's my oscilloscope now. I'm connected to the DLC, and you can see right here it is the PK, which is peak to peak, is around 12 volts. So that's probably about 6 times more than where we need it to be. I know a lot of this is redundant, guys, but check out the water in here. All this is still wet, and you see a little bit of water down here dripping from the wires. And another place, this was wet as well on the wire loom. I've had the fan going for maybe 4 days, 5 days, and the carpet is getting drier, but all these little components, you know, in the dash and everything are still wet. And my floorboards, they were wet as well. I thought they were dry like a month ago, but they're not. Hey guys, so much has happened with the Ford Expedition since I was making videos, and it just, the videos are going crazy, so I really need to explain what's going on with it. So I brought it in the garage. All the carpets are dry now. Let's see, everything is stripped. The interior is out. The seats are over here. Everything is ready to go back in, and everything is looking pretty good, but I need to explain what's going on. So I bought a couple of modules that I suspected were bad. One, the gateway module, which might have been good, but I think I destroyed it by opening the terminals a little bit too much. Not really sure. And then the other one was the airbag module, which sat between the seats and under the center console and under the carpet, which was saturated with water. When I was waiting for that to arrive, I bought an oscilloscope and I started troubleshooting. Pretty sweet little device, and as I've explained before, I do have an electronics background. I use them a lot in the Air Force, but it's still been like 15 years, maybe 20 years since I've used it in the Air Force. I used to do a lot of troubleshooting, use them on a daily basis, but I made a rookie mistake when I was using it. I'll explain that in a minute. I kept seeing a square wave that was about 12 volts from peak to peak, from the bottom to the top, peak to peak, and that's too high for a communication line. And we're looking for like 2 volts, something like that, peak to peak. And at times I would even see the square wave was 16. You know, that's higher than my battery voltage. So I trusted my new oscilloscope, and I just didn't know what was going on. So in order to get a 16 volt peak to peak, you'd have to transfer that energy from the battery to AC, amplify it, and then switch it back to DC. You'd probably lose power in the process. So it just didn't seem reasonable to have a 16 volt square wave. My meter, which was new, was reading 12 volts, but my oscope was reading 120. So at that point I figured, okay, what in the world is going on here? I started looking at the settings on the scope, and sure enough, my scope was set up for the probe, the ×10 probe, which I didn't have installed. It was telling me that my readings were 10 times higher than that. 16 volts was actually 1.6 volts. And then somewhere in that process, I connected the new airbag module. About 80% of my codes went away. But unfortunately, the new airbag module that I got from eBay did have a crash information on it. So I was like, well, I can't send it back. It's too late at this point. I've sent many things to Safety Restore. They have a wonderful service. And by the way, it's cheaper on eBay. They don't give you all the communication and the services that they would otherwise, like straight from their website. But you just pay for it on eBay. You send it to them. You tell them what the order number is, and then they send it back to you. Almost no communication, but that's okay. You know, I got my airbag module here. It's ready to install. I'm going to install that right now, check the codes, and I think everything is going to be okay except for one code. But with that one error, it's saying that the power outlets or the cigarette lighters is shorted to ground. And I'm not sure if it's the BCM or if there's actually a problem with one of the power outlets. But if you guys remember, this BCM is actually from eBay, and it could be bad as well too, but I might just live with it. I don't know. So I'll just take it one step at a time, get the truck on the road, and troubleshoot it here and there. But for now, let's plug in this airbag module, we'll scan it and see what's going on. My battery is already disconnected, and then once it's firmly attached, then you can plug it in and then plug in the battery. Okay, it's firmly tightened and torqued down. I'm going to plug it in. Another module I bought over there is the DC to DC converter. That had an error in it. It had some kind of a control issue. It was like a hard fail on the circuit board, and I just went ahead and bought it, and this one was flawless, no issues, and it reduced one of my errors. All right, let's get this thing fired up. I'm not going to tighten that. Just going to leave it be for the moment. Get my scanner, turn it on. Now I did replace my gateway module, and it should need to be programmed to the vehicle, but I haven't programmed it yet and it's been working fine. Absolutely no errors coming out of it. So I don't know if they were incorrect or it's just thinking it's still back with the old vehicle. Not sure what's going on. Let me try to erase everything, see if it comes back. Alright, I guess that was done. Okay, there it goes. Restraint control module, pass, no fault. That one crash code was in there. It was like a hard fail before. So let's go back to the body control module. That horn scares the crap out of me every time. Now this has been an issue, guys. This fuel pump primary circuit. The car runs good, or the truck runs good. Not sure what's going on there. And again, here's this PowerPoint relay set output. I'll do more troubleshooting, but for now I'll go ahead and put in the carpet and the seats and get this thing back on the road and out of the garage. Hey guys, this is my wife and I, Araceli, and this is the last part of the video, the last video for the truck. And I'm gonna end it with this video, but really quick, what do you think of the truck, honey?
Oh, I think it was a great idea to get it. I remember we were almost getting one in Minnesota, and I made him to drove there together because I wanted to see it first because it was about $16,000. And I think this one was the best deal. I think the truck is gonna be with us for a long time. And I always wanted to change the Expedition for another Expedition, and I think he did a great job repairing it because it wasn't that much. But if you have a little bit patient and you try to find something in Copart or any deal around there about cars or truck, just have patience, and with the time you're gonna find the right thing. If it's gonna be for you, it's gonna be for you. If it's not, God is gonna take it away from your hands. So be patient, and I think I'm happy for the Expedition.
Yeah, so we were first looking at an Expedition in Minnesota, and it was on Copart, and we drove there, and it was really deceitful what the people were doing. It was really in bad condition, but they said it had low miles and it was almost new, and you could see that the body condition was bad, and so we didn't pay for it. They gave us back the money, and we ended up buying something else on Copart, and then now we're really happy with this one. I'm really happy with it, especially that it's in our driveway and it looks really good. The phone is falling a little bit.
Yeah, we're going down.
Yeah. But there's no check engine light. It runs very well. There still might be some things wrong with it, but we're going to check on those later. And I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and we appreciate all the support. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.